Before we start today's video, a quick announcement. The Job Rocker giveaway has ended and a winner has been selected. Simpson Farms, congratulations, you won yourself a Job Rocker. And yeah, obviously you haven't received it yet, but I will send it out as soon as I possibly can. And for those of you guys who did not win, don't worry, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss an opportunity to be in another giveaway. Wink, wink. Now this is such a cool video. I thought about this the other night and I'm like, man, I know you guys love seeing equipment. I love seeing equipment, and since I can't bring you any planning content yet because frankly, it's not time here yet, I spent the last like 2 hours getting everything out, getting everything connected, and setting up this. So here behind me, we have basically all the equipment that we use for spring planting. Now the plan here is I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna show you what we all have and why we use it. So let's get started. All right, to start out, we have our two tillage tractors. Now, our first one is a 9530T. We bought it back, I want to say in 2010. Yep, so we bought it new. It's been a fantastic tractor. It's been with us forever. And our Case IH 255-foot field cultivator. Now, something that you'll notice with both tractors that we use for tillage is they both have these Demco side tanks. So each side tank holds 500 gallons, so it's 1,000 gallons per tractor. And then we have a spray nozzle boom on the front and the rear of each field cultivator. So the reason we have all that is because we like to apply pre-emerge on with our field cultivators, which helps prevent weed seeds from germinating. Now what we used to do, and what a lot of people around us do, is just use a sprayer. They go spray the field with pre-emerge, then they go field cultivate it, then they plant it. The benefit of having this setup is that we have one less man and one less machine running in the fields, so we don't have to use a sprayer, which saves obviously time, depreciation, hours, fuel, you name it. So here's our spray nozzle in the front of the field cultivator, and in the rear, the spray nozzle is placed right in front of the rolling basket. Now the reason we have two is because the pre-emerge chemical that we put on our soybean ground likes to be dug in, so we use the front nozzles. However, the pre-emerge chemical that we use on our corn ground likes to just sit on top, so then we use these rear nozzles. So depending on which sort of ground we're going to be planting into, we use front and rear nozzles. And right next to it is our new setup. So we got this tractor last fall. We did use it a little bit for V-ripping, and I actually did go out into organic ground and use this once already this year. You can go check out that video later. But it's a 9570 RT, I think it's a 2018, which has a Cummins motor in it. Basically exact same setup. Got the Demco side tanks. However, we have a new field cultivator on it. It's a Case IH 255 55-foot field cultivator. Not much difference between the 255 and the 200. They basically look identical, but this one apparently is built a little bit heavier and are able to pull it a little bit faster, which is good because we have the horsepower to do it now. Now we get to planters. So we actually have two planters. We have a dedicated corn planter and a dedicated soybean planter. The corn planter is way cooler, so I'm going to start with the soybean planter. So our soybean planter is a John Deere 1790 1631 split row 15-inch, so it's 40 foot wide, and it's pulled by our 8335R. Eventually, we would love to get a track tractor on there for less compaction, but they're so darn expensive in the meantime. The 8335R is a fantastic tractor, but the reason we go split row 15-inch on our soybeans is not because there's a big yield benefit. I mean, there's a little bit of one, but the biggest reason is weed pressure. If you have less space for weeds to grow, less weeds are probably going to grow. And also it helps shade over faster, so it creates a canopy over the ground, so that way weeds can't get sunlight a lot earlier than if you had 30-inch rows. Now the soybean planter is nothing special, nothing fancy on it, really. Stock John Deere units, all hydraulically driven, so I think there's like 4 or 5 different sections on the planter. We do have airbag downforce. Other than that, it's basically a stock planter. Now in the cab of the 8335R and the 1790 soybean planter, nothing too special. We have the John Deere display and the John Deere hydraulic control box, and we have an iPad. Now the iPad is connected to a puck down here, which sends all the planting data from our monitor to Climate View, so that way we can have planting maps. And the reason for not many gadgets on the soybean planter is because soybeans are a lot less fussy when it comes to planting conditions than corn is. Speaking of corn, our corn planter is a John Deere DB60, so 60-foot bar, 24 rows, 30 inches, and it's pulled by our 8360 RT. Now here in southern Minnesota, we have a lot of compaction issues, and that's the reason for the track tractor on the planter and the track tractors on the 2 field cultivators. And like I said, we'd love to get one on there too. But it's also the reason that we went for a bower bar. Now, we would love to get tracks to the planter as well, but once again, expensive, and we have too much road time, and no tracks have been built for a planter yet that can withstand the amount of road that we have to drive. So that's the reason we went bower bar, because as you can see over here, on the stock John Deere bars, they're fine, but we call them cookie cutters, right? They're these tires that just rut the crap out of the ground, as you can see right here from me just parking it. Now the bower bar is a little different, and that's because it's set up with these giant tires. There's 4 of them under the main frame here, and then it has these cylinders right here which distribute the load of the seed and our fertilizer onto the wings, so that way when you have a full, central seed tank here, you can distribute some of that weight out to the wings and have a more even load throughout the planter. And like I just mentioned a little bit ago, on this one we have the fertilizer tank. We apply starter and 32% with it. Actually, in the past few years, and especially this year, we're actually not applying much anymore. We do apply a little bit of 32% yet onto the ground which had hog manure, because hog manure is very inconsistent in its fertilizer qualities. So I actually don't drive the corn planter hardly at all. I think the most I've ever driven it is 4 or 5 rounds. My brother and I share the load with the soybean planter. It's a lot simpler, it's a lot easier for me to learn on. So last year I probably planted about 1/3 to half of the soybean acres. My brother did the rest, but my cousin-in-law does basically 100% of the corn planting. So I don't know exactly what everything does here, but I've ridden enough that I can give you a good idea. So, first monitor, cameras. Pretty simple, you look at the cameras. This monitor is a John Deere monitor, just like what was in the other tractor. The difference here is that in the other tractor, it controlled the planter and controlled the auto steer guidance. In this tractor, all it does is do guidance. I think we have RTK in this one. I don't think we have RTK in that one. Oh, no, never mind. We have RTK in both. Okay. And the reason that we don't control the planter with this monitor is because we have all the precision planting stuff on there. So we have a precision planting monitor. Now, I'm not even going to get started on how much data this monitor can pull from the planter. It's insane. Every time I look at it, it just boggles my mind how much stuff is on this monitor. Now this monitor connects directly to the iPad, which goes like field view again, and we can make a lot more maps with this planter than we can with that planter. Not because the John Deere is incapable of doing it, it's just because we don't have that one set up to do it. So in this planter, we can actually make like downforce maps, singulation maps, as well as like the population and variety maps. I'm sure if I pull up my phone here, I can see more. But we have the precision planting clean sweep controller box right here, because we have the air controlled clean sweeps, not queen sweeps. Yeah, anyways. And then we have the hydraulic control box. Now I'm not for sure what controls the fertilizer application. That might be the John Deere monitor. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So in order to get the seed from the shed to the field, you obviously need some seed tenders. First, however, I'm going to talk about the trucks that are pulling the seed tenders. So the first truck is, let's do this one. It's our 2009 Chevy 1-ton 3500 single cab gasser. So it has a 6.0 V8, which, not going to lie, the 6.0 V8 it's a gas guzzler and it kind of lacks some power. However, it is an engine that is able to take basically all the abuse you can throw at it. Even though it's kind of lackluster in power, you can abuse it and you can haul heavy loads with it and it'll do perfectly fine. So that's why we like this pickup. Also, they're a lot lighter than the diesels. But yeah, this thing's basically stripped down to the max. single cab. We got crank windows, and the only option that it does have is air conditioning, which is a nice one. Also, we put a flatbed on this pickup, and that's because, well, the flatbed's useful for a lot of applications, but in the seed tender it's really useful because not only can you have a seed tender behind you, but you can put a pallet of seed from the side in the back of the pickup without having to unhook the trailer. The other pickup is a 2008 Dodge Ram Cummins turbo diesel. What is it? I want to say it's a 5.7, but I honestly don't know. I don't know my Dodges that well. Turbo diesel. There you go. There's nothing really special about this one either. It is 4-door. Still has a box on it. You'll probably get a flatbed on it eventually. And now our seed tenders are both Hitchstock SC 4400s. So there's two different types of seed tenders. There's the type that you put the boxes on top of, and then there's the kind that you dump the seed into. The reason we don't have the kind that you dump the seed into is because we like to plant two varieties of crop in the same field, mainly in corn, sometimes in soybeans. So basically what I'm saying is, like, we'll get to the field and each planter has two seed boxes on the top, and each one controls half the planter. So we'll put one variety of corn in one box and a different variety of corn in another, and that way we can directly compare them at harvest time, because they're right next to each other in the field. If you had the style that you dump the seed into, you wouldn't be able to separate out the varieties like that. So here we can put 4 seed boxes on top of each seed tender, so you can separate them out. You can choose which seed you put in and when, and obviously we also have the scale that tells you how many pounds of seed you've put in the planter. So that about covers it for our spring planting equipment. Obviously there's some more stuff on the side, like the fuel trailer or whatnot, but for the main stuff that we use in planting, that's what we use, that's why we use it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully in the next video we're actually planting. That would be amazing. Planting's my favorite time of year. I'm so excited. I'm actually going to take a week off of school. Actually, I'm not really taking it off. I'm going to be doing it online. So I'll be coming back for a week. I'll be doing it online so I can bring you guys, hopefully, the best content on YouTube. Man, that's a big stretch. Okay, see you in the next one.